Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session in our Spatial Webinar Series. My name is Camisia Blackwood, and I'll be your host for this insightful and exciting session. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We're thrilled to have participants from across the region joining us. Today's topic is one that's reshaping how organizations operate and make decisions. ArcGIS as a system of systems. This concept goes beyond traditional GIS use, revealing how ArcGIS integrates people, data, and technologies into a cohesive system that drives smarter, faster, and more informed decision-making. We'll explore real-world applications across sectors like urban planning, utilities, and transportation, and uncover how ArcGIS helps break down silos and streamlines workflows in powerful and practical ways. Leading today's discussion is none other than Roshaun Clarke, who brings a wealth of knowledge and hands-on experience with implementing GIS solutions across diverse industries. You're in for a truly valuable presentation. But before we begin, just a quick reminder that today's webinar is being hosted via Zoom, and we encourage you to drop your questions in the question and answer box throughout the session. We'll have a dedicated time for Q&A at the end, so without further ado, let's dive in. Rashawn, over to you.
Okay, thanks for making the time, everyone. My name is Roshaun Clarke, and the purpose of this webinar is to speak a little bit about ArcGIS as a system of systems. Some of you may be familiar with ArcGIS as a license or as a product, but there is a scalability to ArcGIS in terms of a system, and to that point, a system of systems. So sometimes we may hear that term floating around in the dialogue around ArcGIS, but this webinar is to bring a little more clarity to what a system of systems is and how it may be applicable to you and your GIS work. So for today, we're going to go through the agenda of introduction to ArcGIS system. We're going to speak a little bit about user types and how that works for the excuse me, for the system. We're going to speak about a systematic approach to your work, and then we'll give a few examples of what that looks like. So first of all, what is ArcGIS? It's a comprehensive enterprise-ready geospatial platform. Organizations design, implement, and operate systems on top of that ArcGIS to support their workflows and meet their business requirements. And of course, individual users gain access to the capabilities and the apps and the content through user types. This is another way to look at it. To your lower left is the ArcGIS platform, a GIS technology platform that's enterprise ready, individual ready, desktop ready, community ready. And then there are a bunch of systems that leverage ArcGIS in different disciplines, in different domains, different types of industries. But the workflow is pretty much the same, which is there are 6 main user types that can access the technology from a user standpoint. And depending on the capabilities that you need and the type of engagement you want to have with the technology, that would depict or indicate what user type you are aligned to. Now, as you see here, the viewer, the contributor, the mobile worker, the creator, the professional, and the professional plus. And if you take a little deeper look at those building blocks of ArcGIS, the creator is probably the person that does the most essential ArcGIS work and needs the essential ArcGIS capabilities. That profile would be, for instance, a person who is your GIS analyst. You also have your professional who would be doing more with ArcGIS Pro on the advanced editing side. And then you have your professional plus, which would be the highest level of capabilities for a deep level analytics, cartography, that kind of stuff. And of course, leveraging all the extensions. And then on the other side, you'd have more people that are going out in the field, for instance, like your mobile worker that has a bunch of apps and capabilities to go in the field collect data, whether it be your field maps, your survey 123, or whatever tools you're using. A contributor would be adding to that, like as a supervisor. And of course, your viewer would be your highest executive in your organization that doesn't really need to play around with the data per se, but just need to monitor the KPIs, for instance, dashboards, and so on and so forth. So the viewer, as I mentioned, the role or the responsibilities, typically an executive or a general manager or industry professional, like a specialist. They pretty much just want to understand the health of the organization, make data-driven decisions. They want to use that data to empower their teams, as I mentioned, track KPIs, and they probably want to use maps and reports to inform project work and so on and so forth. Now, the capabilities that they need is pretty much securely view maps, monitor those KPIs, and access special content. So they really just want to view. They don't necessarily need to go out in the field and do anything or engage with the data in any way. And so these are the applications that come with that viewer user type. So that's a framework that it has. You have the user type, it comes with a bunch of applications, and those unlock the capabilities. Similarly, for the contributor in the organization, that would probably be your supervisor, a stakeholder, a collaborator, or a data analyst, right? And that person is looking to track the status of the project, provide edits and feedback here and there, collaborate with project participants, and so on. But the capabilities in a nutshell would be, again, the same as the viewer, which would be securely viewing maps, monitoring the KPIs, and so on. But they also would have the ability to apply simple edits, markups, annotations, and leverage enterprise integration. So it's everything that the viewer has with a few more capabilities. And similarly, the applications would be more towards either viewing content or view and edit content, right? The mobile worker is that one who goes out into the field. That would be like your inspector, your service technician. If you're a statistics organization, this could be your enumerator that's going out into the field. And this person basically collects data for surveys and inspections. They collect data in many different ways. They can receive assignment, they can navigate to their work sites. They keep track of, you as the manager can also keep track of the employee status and so on and so forth. It's also very good for first responders that's going out into the field. And the capabilities have increased, as you see. So in addition to what the contributor has, now you have the capability of collecting data from anywhere, securely receiving work assignments, navigating to your routes online and offline, and securely sharing your location. And the apps that come with it would reflect those capabilities or would unlock those capabilities. The creator now is where you start to engage ArcGIS Pro, right? As the engine of ArcGIS desktop application. So this would be like your map maker. This would be your GIS analyst, or it could be your GIS or IT administrator, right? You're creating maps, you're doing other data visualization, you're extracting insights from data, and you're managing access to content. You're the person who assigns applications, sorry, not applications. You're the person who assigns user types to other persons in your organization. So even your manager, your executive manager, you would be the one who assigned the viewer to that CEO, and that CEO would have the would be seeing what you are pushing to the viewer through your dashboards and so on. The good thing about it is that you're using it in the web, you're using it in the mobile, and you're also using it on the desktop. And you unlock a lot more capabilities through your apps. The professional, second to last one, so this is number 5. This is doing more with ArcGIS Pro, not so much administrating, but doing this is like a GIS professional. This is the person who's doing the data management and the image asset manager or the cadastral mapper or the civil engineer. And you're managing the spatial data for the enterprise. You're organizing imagery and raster data. you're deep in the engagement of the GIS itself and the data. Capabilities increase. Now you can do modeling and maintain connected networks. You can perform advanced image management. You can apply multi-user editing. You're managing your enterprise geodatabase with more apps. And then the final user type would be the Professional Plus. And these are pretty much your geospatial analyst, your GIS developer, your photogrammetrist, your urban planner. As of 2025, the capabilities around an urban planner have been unlocked with Professional Plus. And this now would give you access to advanced mapping, analysis, and 3D tools. You'll be unlocking more apps, but most importantly, you'd also be unlocking all the extensions within that user type. So you would have one user type and it comes with all the different analysts that probably in former ArcGIS engagement, you'd have that as a separate standalone extension or add-on. Now these are included with the user type. The 3D analyst, the data reviewer, the geostatistical analyst, image analyst, locate XT, spatial analyst, publisher, network analyst, and workflow manager. So that's just an overview of the user type as the foundation or the building block, as they would say, of ArcGIS. Now, if we could talk about a systems approach, a system in general is a set of capabilities, apps, and content that are architected to support customer workflows, business requirements, and deployment preferences. And what we mean by this is some parts of the organization need the capabilities, some need the apps, some need content, imagery, and so on. But it's all architected in a way, streamlined from patterns that we have observed over systems and engaging with different systems that basically deliver a workflow for the customer. It meets the business requirements and it meets the deployment preference. It is pretty much adaptable as a system to what works for your organization. The benefits of it is that it's scalable, whether it's an individual, a team, or organization. It's still ArcGIS as a system is a very architected system. And then you can use it in any environment. You could be using it in the SaaS where you don't need to customize anything. You don't need to build anything on top of it. It comes preset in the cloud and it can be leveraged through software as a service. The beautiful thing about that is subscription model. So you have it for a particular term, 12 months, so on. And you unlock all of that capability without any customization. You can also work in the platform as a service environment. This is referred to as PaaS, which is more, instead of a subscription model, it is more a consumption model, kind of mostly focused for developers who are delivering third-party solutions and want to only ingest a part of ArcGIS into a bigger system. And as it is consumed or as it is used, that's the investment. Infrastructure as a service is also there where your entire virtual system is built out. Of course, you could also be looking at the environment of your traditional hardware, your on-prem server, and so on and so forth. And traditionally, when we said system of systems, we're referring to three main areas: a system of record, a system of engagement, and a system of insight. The system of record pretty much refers to your geodatabase and collecting all kind of data. But the thing about it is there is a spatial context to your data so that it can be leveraged for a geographic approach to your business needs. The system of insight is what you draw now from all of the data and all the analysis and modeling. You start to learn and pick up trends. You make better decisions based on that insight. And it's a system of engagement, whether it be your community going out into the field, your field workers, or your engagement with your suppliers, your construction teams, or your customers. All of that is engaging through ArcGIS, through one system that is providing three different systems. And this is another way to look at it. Your system of insights is your analytics. The system of engagement comes from your apps and your maps, and your system of records is through your transactions. And kindly note in the middle there, you have your real time or your Internet of Things measurement that's pushing real time context to your work for our utilities, for instance. Now, as ArcGIS develops, what we have observed is that there are system patterns that has allowed the system to be applicable not only to the traditional GIS user, but across the organization in general. So on your left, you would see there's a default GIS, which is what we do as ArcGIS, as Esri, as Spatial Innovision. We promote and empower GIS users. However, what we've learned is there are more people that can, or other people that can leverage GIS without it being the GIS, but as elements of the system for a business requirement. And so if we look at it more from a business or industry focused system, it is a templated system that can apply. As you can see the ArcGIS diagram here, serving different parts of our organization. And in a real term, what that looks like is something like this. You would have a system as your GIS, but it can serve within an organization a vehicle tracking system for a police force or for a retail company. It can be a disease surveillance system for the health sector. It can be a vegetation management system for electric companies. It can be a parcel management system for land organizations. And not only land organizations such as national land agencies, but even large organizations with large holdings such as agricultural, farmers, people in the utilities, water, retail with big warehouses around and so on. Those parcels can be managed through ArcGIS. And of course, your traditional field crew management going out into the field and so on and so forth. And I'm continuing with an example of an organization that has applied systems of systems. And they presented at the UC in 2023, the user conference. As a side note, I encourage everyone on this call to attend the user conference in July. It will be an exciting one with a lot of announcements. And of course, reach out to Spatial if you have any challenges with getting registered and so on. Okay, so the Pacific Gas and Electric organization has multiple systems supporting the organization. They have a network management system, which is what folks would most likely expect from an electric company, is to manage their network through systems. And of course, it's interoperable. So you could be working on CAD and integrate it into ArcGIS seamlessly. Then you have your folks doing imagery management system. This is a bigger and bigger system need across utilities as folks buy drones and they go and collect a bunch of imagery. They have LiDAR drones, they have mobile mappers to drive around and pick up all kind of imagery, and that need to be processed and stored and geo-referenced and so on. So an imagery management system is another system to itself that will serve other parts of the organization, but it's its own system. And then a customer and contractor engagement system. This will be more to track your customers, locate where they are. When if you want to target your customers for a particular promo or something like that, you would have that geo-referenced. Your contractors that are out fixing the poles or doing any work, you can track that, you can measure their productivity. And of course, you can also kind of reverse engineer to see not only your customers, but where are your unregistered customers? Where is your green field that you should be looking for new customers? All that would come through your customer and contractor engagement system. So that's an example. Another example, for instance, for a land agency, using the concept of looking for your capabilities, assigning your user according to that and unlocking the applications needed. You would look on a parcel management system and say, okay, I need a few mapping technicians, and their job, their capabilities would be to receive work assignments with deeds or CAD files. They would securely access network maps and content on desktop to support those work assignments. They would update the parcel data to keep records accurate. This is probably a larger organization. They have 8 professionals, but maybe for an organization a smaller size, they may only need 2 or 3 mapping technicians. And then they would have a mapping supervisor that kind of does more of the administrative stuff, monitoring, that kind of thing. And they probably would need a creator. And then the assessor would probably only need a viewer. You can see it's a more customizable approach to engage ArcGIS as opposed to probably in former years where folks would just buy a license and apply probably a larger, more powerful license to someone who is not doing all of the work or capable unlocking all the capabilities of that license. So that's the approach that we have in mind. And as I said, to that point, there are capabilities, whether it be your data science. Let's say, for instance, for us, a statistics organization. At one point, they may need a field operation system or unlock that capability to go in the field and do the enumeration. But at some point, they want to crunch that data and push out reports and maps that show things. So they may need some data science as well within the, let's say, defense organization. They're definitely going to need mapping in general to understand the landscape. They may need 3D visualization. They may need real-time visualization analytics. So as you look at the capabilities and look at the organizations, you start to see what they would need, but also they may want to engage with larger data types, bigger data types coming from unconventional sources. And it coming in different formats. Tabular is coming in LiDAR, it's coming in vector, 3D, CAD, and GIS is able to crunch everything into one seamless system. I mentioned patterns before. This is an example. So data editing and management is a capability, but it could serve the network management system in energy utilities. It could serve a parcel management system in state and local government. And it could also serve a roadway management system in the transport agencies. By looking at, by approaching the need through a systematic approach, we find that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, or you have templated solutions that are built to your workflow that may just need minimal customization. And then the final thing I would say on the topic is that, as I mentioned for the definition of systems, we said it was a set of capabilities, apps, and content that is architected to meet the customer's workflows, the business requirements, and the deployment preference. So the architected part is right here. It's a very well architected system. It is designed in a way where at the lowest level, as you may see, that's all data, the data stores. The feeds would be your IoTs and so on. And they feed into an information model. An information model is what would help you with your predictive or your historical analysis and so on and so forth. That pushes up into a service layer, which crunches your, well, it kind of puts it in patterns. It's either data driven, or it might be a mapping and visualization, or it might be an analysis. And those are pushed up through the portal, through different information products, through different portals, meaning it could be on your internet, it could be on your phone, it could be through information products like a dashboard and so on and so forth. And then it's designed in a way that you can build on top of it with apps and APIs. A better way to look at it is like this. As I mentioned, the data is all on one level. Files and objects, relational databases, cloud data warehouses. And then you have your data models according to your industries, utilities, land management, transport, intelligence. You have your data models and rules accordingly. And then you go to the next level, excuse me, you go to the next level and you realize that you could either be doing stuff related to data like querying and accessing, spatial referencing, editing and managing, or you could be doing something according to mapping and visualization, whether it's interactive mapping, schematics, base maps, or on the analysis side. And then you go up to your portal, which is secure, and you can have your content creation, you share with other, you collaborate with other agencies, and you start to push things out. But on the highest level, this is where you have your web applications, you have your mobile and your desktop applications. And as of 2025, we have XR level immersive experiences. So you could be creating your real world from your 3D or laser 360 camera, and then having an immersive experience with it with your virtual or augmented reality device. So it's quite interesting. And all of it is well architected, as you would see on the left. Speaking about it's very easy to integrate with other systems, it's secure, it's scalable, reliable, has automation and all that. So I would conclude here. It's a system of systems is approach to be holistic towards our organization, to broaden the thought of GIS as just a geographic information system, but actually to explore the idea that it's a system that can facilitate, support other systems, and meet other business requirements, meet your workflows. So having said that, I will pause and see if there are any questions that I can do my best to answer.
Thank you so much, Roshaun. Sonia, again, are there any questions for him? Anything that was unclear? Anything that you guys were curious about? I think we can leave the air open for 2 minutes just to see if there are any questions that will roll in. And then after that, we can close the session.
Thank you. I would say if there are any questions, you could also write it in the chat if there is a challenge with the hearing us clearly.
Okay, so we have one question coming in from Lawrence Barrett, and he's asking what extensions come with the Pro license.
Okay, so Pro, it comes in 3 different user types. Pro Basic is with Creator. Pro Standard is with Professional, and Pro Advanced is what is Professional Plus now. Professional Plus, or what we call, or what you would call Pro Advanced, is the one that comes with all the extensions at no extra cost. It's included in that user type. So if you buy ArcGIS Professional Plus, you would get all of the extensions. If it is that you only want one and you say, hey, I don't want all the bundle, you can always purchase or procure a Professional or Creator and simply buy the extension that you want to add on if it's 1 or 2. But that's just a matter of comparing options. but all the extensions come with Pro Advanced or Professional Plus. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you so much. With the answer to that question, are there any other questions that might have arisen from that? Okay, so I have another question from Steven, and he's asking, what's the subscription model?
So I'm not fully clear what the question means. The subscription model means that you would be doing an annual subscription. So it's quite similar to any other software or app that you purchase in, whether it be a Office 365 or a Google Drive or a Netflix, whatever you have subscribed to, Spotify, so on. Some may come monthly, some may come quarterly, and some may come annually. So the ArcGIS is sold annually. And yeah, the typical subscription. So you renew before it closes down at the end of each term, each 12 months. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, so just doing a final call for questions. If you guys have anything that you want to ask Roshaun before we sign off, just so I can release you guys so you can go on to have a wonderful rest of your day. Just final call. Are there any questions for Roshaun? Anything about the webinar? Anything about the topic? Anything that you're unclear about that you need clarification?
It would be cool to know where everyone is calling from or tuning in from. Do we have that, Camisa? We have the idea of how many Jamaicans in the house, how many Trinidadians, how many Guyanese, so on and so forth.
We can run a very poll to see that. Hold on, let me just launch it in the next minute. Okay, so I'm launching the poll now. So see where everyone is hailing from, where everyone has pulled up from to join us today. Running the poll for another 10 seconds. Okay. So the results from this, I see that we have three Jamaicans. We have someone from we have two people from Trinidad and Tobago and one person from St. Vincent.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. We have a little bit from everywhere. We have a full Caribbean in. So welcome everyone, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us for another spatial webinar. I appreciate it. And if there are any questions around what I discussed or anything else, and you want some information or to follow up or have a conversation with anyone from our team, just let us know. We're happy to support.
Okay. Thank you for setting the tone for the ending of this webinar, Roshaun. So I just want to thank you for your insightful and very informative presentation. I'm sure everyone here has gained a deeper understanding of how ArcGIS as a system of systems can really transform their workflows. So to our attendees, we greatly appreciate you taking the time to join us today and for your active participation. So your questions and engagement really helped to make the session a success. Even though it was just a couple questions, they're really appreciative. And as a reminder, this webinar was actually recorded. So if you want to rewatch it at another time and probably study it, have further questions that you'd like to ask us, you can check it out on our YouTube channel and reach out to us if it's necessary. Be sure to keep an eye out for future sessions in the Spatial Webinar Series as we continue exploring new ways to leverage GIS for smarter and more efficient operations. Now, on behalf of Roshaun and the entire Spatial team, thank you again for joining us, and we hope you found the session valuable, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future. Enjoy the rest of the day, and take care, guys.
Bye. Thank you.